Discretion is advised.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to a brand new episode of Train Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be on the Norfolk Southern End line doing a scenario called the Rock for Rockwell. After a water main break, you need to get some stone for a crew getting ready to dig up and replace the bad section of pipes. Now it says we're using the GP38-2 high nose or high hood locomotive. We are actually not, and I'll go ahead and explain that in the video. And it does say that we did complete the scenario, and I'll go ahead and explain that in the video as well. But we're driving a GP40-2. Let's go ahead and hop in the scenario and check it out. Alright, Rockwell Water Department Foreman, hey, thanks for your help. They are ready for you to pick up at Crescent. After that pickup, empty flat car at Link Street, hurry back. You give Foreman a thumbs up. Blah, 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 blah. Let's run around the hoppers and couple to the back of them. Alright, so basically what we're doing here is we're in GP40-2 number 3058. This is the original locomotive we're supposed to be in, but I'll explain that here in a second. But let's go ahead and hop in here. Let's go ahead and set our headlight to dim. Oh, we are, nope. I don't want to be coupling onto those. Let's go ahead and set our reverser to 2. Set our bell and our horn here. But yeah, here is the high nose or high hood GP38-2. And the main reason we are not using it is because it has an issue with the braking system. Now I'm going to go ahead and come to idle here, because I don't remember if this switch is actually set properly, which it is not. So we'll go ahead and set that real quick. Come to the crossing here. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our throttle back in idle. And what we're basically going to do is run around those cars and basically come to a stop at the opposite end, or come back into the siding at the opposite end, couple onto them, and then back them up. Alright, track is set. Let's go ahead and set it into forward here, since we're not on the crossing. Since we were not on the crossing, we had to go ahead and do another crossing sequence. I mean, technically we were on it, but we were not. But yes, so the high hood GP38-2, for some reason the brakes were kind of wonky on them. So they wouldn't, anytime I would set them, they wouldn't set, and then anytime I'd release them, they wouldn't release. So yeah, I'm not like 100% sure what happened with them, but I decided to just basically go ahead and run with the GP40 instead, because I know that I would get a better, or I know that the braking would be better on it. So we have both locomotives today, only needed one, and we are actually going to be coupling on back over here. There we go. Put it into reverse. Sound you. Going to put it in notch 1, since we have whatchamacallit, hoppers over here. And then of course we also have the crossing to protect once again. And then basically the weird part about the whole ordeal is we're going to be pushing back to where we pick up the stone at, and I'll explain that here when we're shoving back. Alright, so here we are coming in for the safety stop on these hoppers here. So yeah, just some weird braking going on with the high hood, so I decided to not drive it today. And plus, I'm pretty sure we've already driven the high hood GP38-2. Maybe in the future we will, just not today. But we're going to be coupling onto our cars here in a second. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more juice so we don't actually come to a stop. Alright, good hook. Here we go. Head to Crescent, load the stone at the Crescent Wilcoy. Loading, then I'll contact the foreman at Link Street about the flat car. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set that switch once again. So we have to set it back this way. And we're going to be the only train on this line, so I'm not too worried about setting the switch back once we clear it. But that one has to get set back to the main line and stuff. And let's go ahead and back up these cars. So a little bit of a different scenario. We're normally not backing trains up. We're normally pulling trains, but today we're actually going to be backing them up. So a little bit of a different feel to this scenario. And then, of course, I'm making sure that the switch is set and lined up for our movement, which it looks like it is. So we'll go ahead and reduce our throttle there since it's a 10-mile-an-hour zone. And then once it gets up to 25, we'll go ahead and whatchamacallit, once it gets up to 25, we'll speed up. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. If you guys are, do make sure you guys hit the like button, as well as that subscribe button with the bell icon, as well as make sure you guys follow me on all the social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Conductor's gonna be riding the shove here. But yeah, so in the beginning of the video, you guys did see a check mark next to this scenario, and that is because, yes, I have already completed it, but for some reason, when I was going back into editing it, there was no game sound, and I don't understand why there was no game sound, because Streamlabs said it was picking it up, but supposedly it was not picking it up. And I'm not 100% certain why. So here we are back on the Norfolk Southern End line. And here we are back doing this scenario for the third time, I believe. The first time I did it was because of the high nose 38-2 with the malfunctioning brakes. Or that was the first time. The second time was when I did it and there was no audio. So this is the third time I'm actually doing this same scenario. And I just think it's an interesting scenario, to say the least. And this part of the end line is just, I don't know, it's just super beautiful to me. Like, the small town, all the warehouses and stuff, and the business district. It kind of resembles like a small little town for the most part. Or like maybe one or two. Then this will be the flat car right here we end up picking up afterwards. Little baseball diamond with like a high school or a middle school to your right there. It looks super cool. Then we have like your business district over here, warehouses, factories, all that fun stuff. But yeah, just a super cool thing. They got two baseball diamonds. There's probably one for baseball, one for softball. And then you have like your residential areas here. So you got your houses, you got a couple houses over here. All in all, it's just a super, like, nice looking route, from what I can tell from this portion of it. So yeah, we're just going to keep going backwards till we hit the siding here. It'll be soon, and you guys will see why we actually have to shove the train instead of, pulling it. You guys will see why here in a second. Once, I think it's like right after this crossing is when we have to actually stop. So yeah, you got your little like foresty areas over here, a lot of trees. Then you have, more residential areas over here. House, oh, whoa, 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 that was some bad lag right there. But the houses are pretty spread out, which is kind of nice. I like how there's like this house right here in front, and then there's one behind it. You guys can kind of see it. But yeah, I think that's like super freaking awesome. Another crossing, he's got some more houses spread out over there along the main road. You got some trailers parked back over here. Not quite sure what that's about, but there's just some random trailers just, you know, sitting in an empty field. Interesting. And there is that switch we need to set to get into the siding here. So we'll go ahead and do just that. Maybe we can try to do it on the fly. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. We'll start slowing the train down a little bit. And actually loading this thing is actually super cool. We got some Volvos. We got some two blue, looks like Volvos, loading up or unloading or something. Looks super cool. Looks like the Volvo 660. Kind of looks like it. Got some cement trucks here. Got some dump trucks back there. And then we'll actually go over here to where the trains load. So we're not actually using like the... we'll be using the expert controls here once we're done here. But just for right here, I only wanted to do the simple controls because it'd be a lot easier with watching the reverse move and stuff like that. So let's keep shoving, keep shoving, keep shoving. There we go. And this is exactly why we have to shove the train back. Because if you guys can see there, the bumper or the buffer is literally right in the area. So we're going to have to shove back and then pull forward, it looks like, for that car. Kind of outshot it a little bit, but that's fine. So we'll just have to pull forward or shove back for that car, or pull forward again for the last car. So yeah, it's kind of cool how the excavator literally just, you know, fills up the car. I think that's super cool how they did that. And then of course you got your like sounds for braking and stuff, which I think sounds somewhat realistic. It's actually not bad, even though the bucket of the loader or the excavator is empty, it still loads up your car, which I think is super cool. And yeah, that is why we had to push our train in instead of pulling it in, because the short spur lead we have to get into the lead here, or to get into the loading place here, is super short. I don't know if that's how they did it why they did that on purpose, or if that's just because there's no room, because there kind of is room to spread it out a little bit more, but I don't know if that's like if that's what they own or not. It looks like it, but I doubt it. I don't know. I just think that it's super weird. So once we get back up to Link Street, we're gonna have to do something different, and you guys will see what I'm talking about here once we get back up there with the flat car. Because I don't want to make this a sandwich train, so we're not going to have the flat car. Oh, stop. It's like we overshot it again. Son of a bitch. Can I still load it from there? Nope. Son of a bitch. Alright, there we go. We should be able to load it up now. There we go. Cool. So, all loaded up now. Head to Link Street, ready to head your way for the pickup. Copy, ready over. Alright, here we go. So, let's go ahead and set the headlight to bright there. I forgot to do that, I guess. Set it forward. The bell, and sound the horn. So, you guys will see here in a second what I mean by, I don't want to have a locomotive sandwich. And you'll see what we actually end up having to do once we get to Link Street. So yeah, that is pretty much that. And once we pick up the flat car, we just got to put it back, or pull forward to the siding that we were basically in. And then that ends the scenario. So it looks like we got a 25-mile-an-hour zone. Let's go ahead and bump it up to 20. 5 there. We got another crossing coming up, so we'll go ahead and sound the horn for that. We got two different Norfolk Southern paint schemes. We got the Horsehead paint scheme, which is their current paint scheme. Then we have the Norfolk Southern, which was the one before the Horsehead paint scheme. Both look super cool. They both kind of look the same except the Horsehead, you know, but they both look super cool. There we go. Alright, so we got Link Street access coming on our HUD there, about 0.5 miles away. And that is where we are going to stop for the flat car. Or, it's called the flat car, but the Marias Pass calls it a lumber car. So I'm not quite certain exactly what it would be. So what I'm going to end up doing here is, you guys will see here in a second. And what I mean by not having a sandwich. If you guys know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, then you'll see here in a few. We're going to have to blow through the crossing and blow through the switch. And then I'm going to work my magic. Alright, so here we are coming up past the switch here. Going to set that reverser into forward. Let's go ahead and put it on handle off so that we can stop. Coming to a stop, coming to a stop. There we go. Almost. Alright, we have stopped. So what we're going to end up doing here is we are actually going to basically uncouple this locomotive. So we're going to basically put this thing into forward, since this way is actually forward, or that way is reverse actually. So we'll put this thing into forward here, release said brake. Two different horns on each vehicle here, which is different. I think they both come with the end line. They got two different horns, which I think sounds kind of weird. And we're going to basically leave the 3058 there while we go pick up the flat car. So it's going to be a little bit of an unusual consist here. So we'll have the GP40, the flat car, the high hood locomotive, and then we'll have the hopper cars, or yeah, I guess we'll call them hopper cars. So like I said, a little bit of a different consist here, but it'll be alright. So we'll just go past this crossing here, we'll stop the train, and then I'll show you guys what I mean by the brakes here in a second. So as you see there, they're applied, but they don't, you know, they're very slow at applying for the most part. So we'll go ahead and flip the switch here. But yeah, they are super slow at applying. And then once we get over here, it gets to 17%. And then it just, basically it stops at 17. And then we'll have to, you know, sound the protect the crossing. Alright, so we do have a high hood. So of course with the high hoods, the long hood is actually the front and the short hood is the rear, which on other locomotives is the exact opposite. I know this was a practice by Southern Railway, Norfolk and Western Railway, And then Norfolk Southern kind of adopted that, because I know a lot of times they do long hood forward, and I've actually seen a couple other railroads do it as well. I know CN does it quite a few, or I've seen CN do it quite a few times. And actually there was a City of New Orleans train that broke down just outside of Champaign. Supposedly both the ditch lights failed on it, and yep, see right there is what I'm talking about, how it doesn't, and we gotta bang it into the buffer. But yeah, tell the guys from the water department that I'll run down some pipe straps and a few thanks a lot, blah 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 blah. Alright, so we gotta re-put it back into reverse here. But yeah, so what I was saying is there was a City of New Orleans Amtrak train ended up breaking down out of Champaign, and well, let's just say the Amtrak engineer was not accustomed to what he ended up getting, and that is because they basically put a long hood forward CN, I believe it was a GEVO on it, and basically the engineer was on the wrong side of the locomotive, so he was basically on this side, but it was facing the other direction for the most part. So he was in for quite a ride because he's not used to it. He was having a long hood forward. I'm not quite sure if he was by himself or if he had another like assistant engineer with him, since the City of New Orleans usually has them, then they don't. Same thing with the Illini service. So he's probably something he's not currently used to, and having a consist like that, or having the lead unit be long hood forward, so he was probably in for a hell of a treat. Luckily it was only like a 3-hour trip from Champaign to Chicago for the most part, but I'm pretty sure the engineer was having a lot of fun not being able to see properly going long hood forward. So that was just some fun there that I seen cutting pictures a couple nights ago and stuff. One thing I don't understand about Amtrak though is they're having a lot of problems with their P42 locomotives, but then they have at least 7 or 8 of them, or 9 of them actually, stored, just chilling there in New Orleans. A lot of them were like the Michigan line ones, since they have the special software to run on the Amtrak Michigan line, and they were just kind of chilling there because the Michigan line is now overrun by Charger locomotives. Alright, so track is now set. So I don't understand why they just have them stored down there. They should put the ones that are breaking down, store them down there instead, and just have the good ones running up here, since the Michigan line ones really never really saw any service outside the Michigan line, for the most part at least. Never seen them on like any long distance trains or anything like that. Recently maybe, but other than that, not really. So we got to stop here at Ling Street Access. On my way back now. We're just getting ready to start. Head back, apply handbrake to the empty flat, and hold on Rockwell siding until we are ready to unload the stone. Sounds like a plan. Alright, so what we're going to end up doing now is we are going to couple back onto this locomotive, for the most part. We're going to couple back onto the locomotive, and we are going to pull back into Rockwell siding. So this will be super fun to do. And I know there was no actual like safety stop on the coupling onto the flat car, and there probably won't be one coupling onto here either. And that is only because of the braking system on the GP38. As you guys can see there, I'm at 74% and they're not even applying. So yeah, see, as you guys can see, they're working, but they're not. So imagine trying to load the train of hoppers with that. I'm like, no, I can't do it. What should have been stopped before I even coupled on just finally stopped. So yeah, we're gonna hop back into this locomotive here. Headlights to bright. There we go. So we should be starting up here soon in a second. There we go. Kind of cool thing though, look at the bell. It's like hanging there on the side. I know on the Metrocab cars the bell's actually underneath the frame, but this one's just kind of hanging there on the side. I know some that have them hanging up front here, like on the cab and stuff. So yeah, kind of cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, one thing I did have an issue with as well, when I was ending the scenario, is over here it would just kind of, you know, not want to throttle up and stuff. So I'm not quite sure if it has something to do with this locomotive. I don't specifically know. I don't see why it would. But it was having a lot of issues throttling up. So one thing I do know is that I can't do the generator field or anything on here, so I can't actually shut this locomotive down unless it has to be through up here. But as you can see, I don't have anything to do, and I don't want to shut it, and I don't want to shut it down, because then it'll shut down this locomotive as well. Alright, so like I was saying, having a lot of issues throttling up. But we are coming up on the crossing here, and then we're also coming up on the siding as well. So we're going to reduce our throttle and start slowing down, because it is a 10-mile-an-hour zone. And here we are coming into Rockwell siding once again. Going to put our hand on the brake there so we can start braking this thing. It should come to a stop after all the cars are in the siding there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the switch gets set back to the main line so any other train can come through. I think I forgot to set the switch over there at the quarry, but that's okay. We'll just alert the other engineer about it. And we're going to come to a stop here in a second. Set that back to forward. Turn that off. That's off. Idle. Generator field off. So train won't move no matter what. And our 3-step protection is good. Let's go and hop down. And yeah, so like I was saying, it's going to be weird. Engine, car, engine, cars. So not typically a normal consist you'd see on a local, but that is what it is. You both step out of the cab to watch the construction begin. Up next, yard work, Salisbury, scenario complete. Well, that's going to go and do it for this one, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll catch you guys here on the next video. Peace.